Welcome, 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 my lovelies. Welcome back, and hope you're all well. Another lovely, warm, mild day today, and is it November yet, or it's the end of October? Who knows? Yes, indeed. Who cares? So, welcome to part 4, I think, of Hillside House. Very exciting. Just, oh God, I need to contain myself a bit. I love my work, what I do. It's every breath I take, I think of doll houses. I'm looking over there, as always, because it's over there. Yes, welcome to part 4, where I am going to move. This time, in this video, we are going to move indoors. Yay! Well, we're going to move indoors, but we're going to also finish a tiny part of outdoors as well. And I'm doing this because apparently that's now the symbol for a small section of roof outside the building. So yes, I have a little roof area that I want to just complete first of all, and then I'm going to move inside the house as well. So the excitement is this is just wonderful. This house, who is owned by a couple. They like travelling, and they have been to Morocco and stayed in Marrakesh before, as has John and myself. So I have a feel for it already, which is absolutely thrilling. After being there a few years back now, I just loved all the colours and everything. And now I'm going to get a chance to put that into practice, into a dollhouse. Reason being, the couple that own the house, as I say, love travelling, love Morocco. They love Marrakesh, and they have decided in the ground floor of their hillside Italian villa to open up a cafe and a little shop all on the ground floor. And the cafe is going to be very, very Moroccan themed. Hopefully, in my head, I can see walking into it, and it is very reminiscent of Moroccan cafes. It was a few years we were there before anyway, now, but I did, just to refresh my memory. I had it in my head, but I looked on images and Google and on the internet itself, just to look at actual places, and I found some just typical Moroccan coloured interiors. They're bright, they're vibrant, they're burnt oranges, they're absolutely just rich and lovely. The rest of the house is going to be completely and utterly different in their living quarters, because they also love their own style as well. So the house, when I get above the ground floor, the house is going to be completely different again, which is absolutely thrilling. But at the moment, I'm going to begin on in the ground floor. So yes, a Moroccan cafe style. So I've got a few lovely colours. I think what I might do is, I'll show you the colours that I'm going to be using. But also, before I do that, we had decided, or I had shown my client some nice terracotta tile paper. It's quite a thick paper, strong paper, and it looks like terracotta square tiles, about 1 inch square. And she said that's fine, we'll go ahead with that. So I was going to do that, so it's easy just to cut the paper the size of the floor and glue it on, floor laid, which is it's about a 20-minute job, if that. Then after my client decided on or agreed on that, unknowing to them until they watch this video, since then I was speaking to our friend Martine, who also does miniatures and the wonderful food that she makes. At some point she may make some more food, she's saying, and more bits and pieces to go in the shop for sale. So that's maybe all still to come. Hello my lovely Em, if you're watching. I'm sure you are. Love to you up north where you are. Yes, so I was talking to the lovely Martine and telling her what I was doing as I was beginning this video, and she suggested, which I have decided to take on that suggestion. It's a lot more work, a lot more time, but it's going to look a lot better. Cheers. Semi-warm tea. Luckily it's nearly finished. So after talking to the lovely Martine, she showed me what she had done on one of her little dioramas in a kitchen, and I am going to go by her advice, and I'm going to use some DAS terracotta air drying clay. A lot of you will know this, a lot of you may not have seen it, so that's why I'm holding it up, so the ones that haven't seen it can get a photograph of it from the screen or write it down. It's a Fimo clay, an air dried clay, and DAS is just the make of it. You can get different ones. I've already got the natural coloured air dry clay that I originally used to practice making my miniature pots on the wheel, and I just used a little bit of it, and as soon as I could do it, I used ceramics, as we all know. Much harder wearing, but for this, for tiles in the floor of the cafe and the shop, I'm going to roll out this clay. I'm going to cut it into individual squares, let it dry. I will obviously, I don't know the actual colour of it till I see it rolled out. I'm sure it'll be a very even colour, but obviously I'll age them, I'll shade them. On terracotta floors, realistic ones, they're never all exactly the same shade. They're all, some are lighter, some are darker. There's little scuffed bits on them and what have you through age. So yes, I'm going to be doing this today. But as I said, I've just got. We're going inside, but I've got a little bit left on the outside to do, which is where the narrow side of the building is that juts out from the rest of the house. The top section of that has a little roof, so a sloping roof and a flat roofed window in between it. So the sloping bit, I was going to buy paper that looked like terracotta tiles, but I'm going to make my own terracotta roof tiles, rectangular ones, colour those, as I said before, the same as the flooring, and then I'll glue them on individually. Again, it will take a long time, much longer than gluing down a piece of paper. But I'm laughing, I think, out of madness because the whole project is taking a long time, but that's my fault. I'm always looking to improve on my own ideas, and luckily Martine gave me this idea. So I'm going to get an implement to help me with this, so I shall just pause the video, go and get that, maybe a hot cup of tea, and come back. Okay, I'm all set up and ready to go. I've got another cup of tea. Cheers. Got my ginger cat cup. Thank you, Joyzy girl. Right. Yes, let's move the camera down and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. And I've just noticed the interesting thing. This terracotta clay, it's actually made in Italy. And it's going to go in an Italian villa. And here we have one Italian pasta maker. Everything doesn't have to be Italian if you do this at home. I mean, you can use normal coloured clay and then paint it, You can do anything you want really. But Martine suggested using the pasta machine to get it nice and level. If you don't have one of these, don't rush out and buy one, obviously, if you want to do the same tiles. Just get two, I'll just grab any, that's a piece of skirting board, but just get a couple of lengths of wood, thin lengths of wood, just the thickness that you want the tiles of to come to, and lay them down like a railroad track, one there. Put your clay in here and use a rolling pin, and just make the two sticks so that the rolling pin covers over the ends of the sticks, the sides of the sticks, and as you roll it flatter and flatter, you won't be able to roll any lower than the actual sticks on each side, and that will give you a nice level surface as well. So that is just as easy to do, but I thought it was quite good fun, seeing as I have a pasta machine and have made pasta, but I'm actually going to use it for something else. Which is excellent, and this certainly won't be edible, folks. Don't try eating this at home. I'm just going to use my scalpel just to chop down a chunk, and I'll do this in small sections, like just whatever the pasta machine will take. That's fine. Leave that there for a minute, and then I'll attempt to start squishing it first of all, a bit thinner, and then see what happens for the first time. It may go horribly wrong, but it's all malleable and hasn't dried yet, so we shall see how it works. And it's, oh right, so it's doing it, but it needs to be rolled out a bit first of all, or flattened a bit more. There we are. And that should be easier. Yeah, let's see what that does now. How nice. I've done it on the biggest setting at the moment. There we are. I may, if it doesn't do it all in one go, I may cut a bit off and carry on, but it's doing it slowly, so I'm just doing it carefully. Wow. Right, it's stopped there because it's got a bit too thick, so I shall get this, put the scalpel up there, and just cut a chunk off, there, and then lay it nice and flat. How exciting. Right, I shall flatten this out a bit more. I'll carry on doing this. What I could have done was bring the rolling pin down and just roller pinned it ish to this almost the flatness that I wanted, or the thinness or thickness, and then put it through the machine. How exciting. So I shall carry on doing this, and then you have to help it along as it goes in, and then we shall start cutting. Okay, now I've turned my mat back over to the grubby side, and I've put it's usually around the other way, so the mess on the mat starts from there backwards. So I've turned it around so that that's not showing as much, and I've got the sort of cleaner area that's usually at the back of the desk. Because the reason I've turned it over is because it's bigger squares. I think it's 2-inch squares on the other side, and I want 1-inch squares. So I'm just going to lay this on here. Then there's no measuring. Then it doesn't matter which way your clay is lying. You can just cut it into sections first going one way and then turn the pieces round to go the other way to get the squares. So I'm just going to move along like so, just cutting 1-inch widths, and then when I've cut those I'll turn them all round and cut them out. That I probably need over 300 of these tiles. So there are two. Two down. Oh dear. 298 to go. Well, actually it's more than 300 I need, I'm sure. So anyway, I shall carry on now cutting these, rolling more out, cutting them. Also for the roof section on the outside, I'm going to cut them a different size altogether, though I'm going to make rectangular ones because they will be the roof tiles to go on the roof, and then that will, using the exact same materials, will sort of join the top of the house down to the ground floor, and it will match up. So yes, so I shall carry on with this, put some music on, and come back to you in uno momento, as they say in Italy. Or is that Spain? Who knows? And just in case somebody may be sitting suggesting this, I've just realised the metal ruler itself cuts really well without having to run the X-Acto knife over it. So I'll just line that up with the lines on the mat and cut down. There we are. And that is slightly quicker. So there we are, it's not going to take much time at all. Hurrah. Right, there's roughly 350-ish tiles there. So when they're dry, some may break, some may not. I'll texture them, I'll colour them after they're dry. If I try and do anything to them now, I'll start putting them out of shape. But I learnt fairly quickly with the ruler how to sort of slice them much quicker than sort of one at a time. Just rolling out strips and then cutting them long ways along the length of the strip all the way down, and then I just turn the ruler at right angles and just chop straight along 1, 2, 3, 4, and it cuts so many rows out at a time. So it did them fairly quick. I suppose about 2 hours it's taken to do that so far. But now I'm going to cut while the clay is out, I'm going to cut the rectangular strips for the roof tiles and get those done, and then I can let the whole lot dry together. This is now the following day. So after finishing all of these tiles that I'm looking at now, in fact I'll show you eventually how many I did so you can see. I've done a whole load of the floor tiles and a couple of rows, more than enough for the roof tiles. Let me move my camera back for you. Hopefully that's okay. Yes. So I came in this morning and picked up one, I think one of the first ones that I made, and it's just gone slightly lighter at the corners. So I didn't realise how long it takes to dry. I think if I had made these in the summer, they probably would have been dry this morning. Being so thin, I'm sure they would have just dried overnight. But it's damp outside. It was yesterday all day. It is this morning, still damp, and it's a bit chillier. So it's not so warm, the temperature in the air. So they are going to probably take a few days to dry before I can actually use them. But that's absolutely brilliant. It's not a problem at all, because I have to do other things to the house before I can use either the floor tiles or the roof tiles. So I shall carry on with that instead. Oh, by the way, cheers everybody. Lovely and warm. I've just got a mug, my Chicago mug. Nice cup of tea. Oh, lovely. It's fairly early in the morning, so I'm just getting started. So yes, I'm going to carry on with the other parts of the house, which I have to anyway. So that's absolutely brilliant. But I just wanted to stop for a minute, just to I was going to say make an announcement. All I could see then was a really fantastically bad B movie of the world being taken over by Martians, and people, I think a film probably back in the 60s where it's black and white and people are watching the TV in their lounge, and some American announcement comes on the television where they say, "We have interrupted your programs to bring a special announcement. The aliens are coming." I'm not even sure what brought all that on. I do apologise. What I really wanted to say was, which is something much, much closer to home, is I obviously subscribe to other channels like your good selves do, like my lovely family do, and I'm sure you enjoy all the ones that you watch, and I also do the same thing. But one in particular, that I'm a subscriber of. I watch her videos a lot. They're just nice and calming. She's a very, very, very calm lady. She doesn't come on, when videos start and they're all loud like this, and I just can't concentrate on those ones, or ones that have music constantly on them. And you see whatever's being done, but nobody actually talks to you. It's their way. That's how they choose to do it. Everyone's different, and I accept that 100%. But I've, as I say, I've been a subscriber of hers for a while now, and I just thought the other night, I was watching after work. I was watching one of her videos, and all of a sudden it hit me that she is the American version, the female American version of me. That's what I saw, and I've watched her lots of times, but it just hit me the other night. Anyway, as you're all thinking, who is it? Her name is Penny, and her YouTube channel is Penny's Small Spaces. I'll put it up on the screen here, and I will actually put a link to her YouTube channel in the description box below this video, so where the comments are and all that information. If you click on where I've written a description about this video and click on that, you'll have a link, there will be a link by the time I've uploaded the video, to her channel. I just think she's lovely, she's calm, she's easy to follow. She does tutorials like making little bits and pieces, which is absolutely brilliant. And some of you might already know, as I've mentioned her name, you might instantly know, yes, I'm one of her subscribers anyway. But some of you may not be. I don't know the lady. She's not a friend. I've never met the lady. But I don't mean she's not a friend as in I don't like her. Oh, Richard. How does your brain work? I don't know how I get through a day. Actually, I do. It's because I have John Boy by my side, and he attends to the rest of my life while I do this. But anyway, yes, she sounds like a really, really lovely lady. And as I says, I don't know why I haven't really mentioned her before. I mean, it just struck me all of a sudden. As I said, she's just so much like me. She's just chatty. Her videos, she just comes on like me and talks and then shows you whatever like me. And then at the end she says goodbye, and she's very nice about it all. But she doesn't have all modern zip zappy things coming on the screen and what have you. It's all just her, the real her, as it were. And as I said, yeah, I think her stuff is lovely, and I think she's got a really, really lovely channel. So as I said, I'll put the link to her and go and have a look. And you may not have known about her. You may already be a subscriber, as you are with myself, but you may not have heard of her, and you may want to go and look at her channel and subscribe to her channel. She just looks like the kind of person like myself, like another version of me across the pond, that would just appreciate some more people coming to look and watch her and join in with her videos as well. So anyway, I won't go on about it, but I just thought when I was watching the last one, and she's just started a Friends video, like the comedy series Friends, and she's just started doing some miniatures to do with the comedy, which we watched for years over and over. We loved it and still do. So anyway, so I shall carry on myself, and let's go and do something to the rest of the building while we're waiting on these tiles to be to dry. It may be a couple of days before I can get on with these, because I think they're going to take a little while now because of the weather and the time of year. But we're okay, we can carry on. So cheers again. And let's go and do something with the building. Right, now, at the moment I'm just leaving bits of wood to dry for the little roof section. I have to wait for that bit to dry before I can carry on with it, to complete that. So while that's drying, I'm going to start on the inside of the cafe, the Moroccan style cafe. I am far too excited with this. So I did some research. I found lots of pictures of Moroccan cafes, plus John Boy and myself had been to Morocco and Marrakesh in the past. So I had an idea of what they look like colour-wise anyway. And there was a sort of general theme of certain colours, which are very, very just typical Moroccan. So I sent photographs to my client of what I was thinking about, the colours, and she's agreed to it. And then John Boy and me went to our local DIY department store with the photograph, and we looked for quite a while to find different colours, just to match up with this photo. And between us, we both came to final colours, just little swatches, the swatch cards we had. And so we had those mixed, I had those mixed up, and we got them home. I shall show you them now before they are applied to the room. They are just obviously typically Moroccan, because they're taken from actual photos of Moroccan cafes. But the interesting thing was, we just looked at them colour-wise and matched them up with the colours in the photo, so the client knows that that's what they're getting. And it wasn't until I'd got them home and I was getting some sticky labels out to write the names of them on the swatch cards, and John Boy had hold of the cards, and he said, "Did you realise 2 of these have Moroccan names?" So we have one, they call it Marrakesh Market, and another one, Moroccan Resort. Who knew that? And I'd picked the colours especially because I thought they were typically like these colours in the photo. So absolutely brilliant. I couldn't have wanted for more. So I will just tip the camera down and just give you a glimpse into the pots. They're just outrageous. I love them. Let me tip the camera for you. In fact, I'll just pause the screen and do it off camera. So I don't know how well you'll be able to see into this until I undo them. I'll put the lids in front. Oh, I can't tell you how excited I am to use these colours. And the third one. Oh, oh my goodness me. Absolutely amazing. They are for specific areas in the room. One will be used for the walls, one will be used for the ceilings, one will be used for a low piece in the room, and another one will be just for a tiny touch of that colour, just to lift the whole thing, which is what they had in the photo. So I'm going to start now. We're going to start with the this one. It's called Marrakesh Market, and I'm going to paint the ceiling in this one. And so I'm going to turn the house upside down, as it's easier to paint the ceiling with gravity to help you, rather than trying to paint upside down. So I shall get on with that first of all, and then we'll let that dry and carry on with the rest. I'm just so excited, I cannot tell you. Now remember, the building is upside down now, so that's the roof and that's the ground floor, because it's on the ground, or it will be when I turn the house back round. So just to let you see, I've put masking tape all along the back and around the sides of the wall, meeting the ceiling, the actual ceiling there, and I've just done it as neat as possible to get a nice straight line. I've done it up this side, even though the archway is cut out, because there is a beam along the top there, which is part of the wall. As you can see, it comes down, so this will be the wall colour, so I don't want the ceiling colour on it. And if I come through to the shop area of the cafe, then you can see I've done the same along here as well. So I can now just paint these two floors. I'll give them a few coats, probably sanding in between, and get those nice before we carry on with the rest of it. I now have the tiles out in the sun. This is day 3 and they are still not dry. You can probably see this section here I've turned over, so they're upside down now. Oh, not upside down, they're just the other side, and they're all still wet underneath. And these ones I still have to turn over and leave them in the sun, and all of these as well. And here we, oh Georgie, hey Georgie, look, hey Georgie, in the sun. So yes, so these are taking a while, but it will all be worth it in the end. Instantly reminds me of Marrakesh, which is brilliant, considering that's named after Marrakesh, that colour. And so is this one. So there's the ceiling down. I'm just waiting for paint to dry, and across into this side. And I will be putting up a very small plain cove in there, nothing too fancy. But that's going into the room now, so it's building up. And also, if I bring over the roof here, so you can see the roof. Now I've put the triangular bits in and plastered those, or stuccoed the wall and painted it the same as the house. And the top bit there is a nice big slab of concrete. This is at the top of the house, so that would be nice with a great big urn on the top, maybe, or some cherubs holding an urn with lots of floral things in. That would look quite dramatic on top of an Italian villa, but I think it's looking quite good. And this bit here, I've just painted it a terracotta colour ish, because when I put the tiles on the roof, if there's any little bits showing at the edges or the sides or whatever, then they'll be darkened like the terracotta colour, so it won't show up as brown wood behind them. So I'll just cover each side of that, and then that will be ready as a piece just to put on the top of that side of the house. So really looking forward to getting the roof done, finished. And I think my next step here is probably putting the walls on, or I could put the coving on next. Not the walls, the flooring. But as you know, I'm still waiting for tiles to dry. But hopefully it won't be long and I can carry on and get them done. Now the tiles are all dry and they're ready to put on the floor, but first of all I just wanted to show you the little roof area because I've finished that. So here we have, hopefully you can see it properly. There's little bits of glue marks there, but that will dry because I've literally just put them together now. But hopefully you'll agree that they're very old, worn looking terracotta roof tiles on an Italian villa. I'm very, very, very pleased with them myself, which is always a good sign when you picture something in your head. I pictured that, and then you do it, and then it actually turns out looking like that. So yes, I'm very, very happy with the look of that. But now I will get every single roof tile. I'm just fumbling for them because I'm looking through the camera at the same time. Every single roof tile, and just around the edges there with the rough bits, I will get some sandpaper and sand every single side, all four sides of every single tile. Because it looks unnatural where I've cut it, just that sort of rough edge there. So I have to sand every one before I can start forming the floor with them. So I shall put music on in the background, or even an audio book. I've started listening to audio books. I'm in the middle of a gothic horror story at the moment, so I shall carry on with that while I sand all these tiles. Now I'm just showing you the what I'm doing here. The flooring I'm laying on a thick craft card that I've cut to size. The two bits together fit the whole ground floor, but I'm doing them in excuse me, in two separate pieces because this, once it's done and grouted and everything, it's going to be solid, so it won't go in to the house in one piece. So I'm doing it in two pieces. This piece will fit in on one side, and then this will go in the other side, and it will join up exactly in the middle. So if I push that like so, the whole thing will join up like that, and that's the outline of the building itself. So I'll carry on with these tiles and put these on, and then I'll let the whole floors dry first of all after I've done them, before I start colouring them. But I'll do that next after I've laid the flooring. And the grids that I've drawn on here, that I don't even know what size they are. I've just done them the width of the ruler because it was easy. But that's basically just to give me a straight guide line going across and coming down, so that when I'm laying the tiles, I'm not going off at an angle without realizing, and getting worse and worse as the floor goes on. So when you get to the other side, if you're doing this on just plain card, it might end up that you've got a sort of V shape at the other side where you haven't done it as even as possible. And I'm saying that because the tiles aren't exactly, they're not manufactured, they're handmade. and plus they all shrink a tiny bit when they're drying, so they're not all exactly the same size. So all the tiles, I mean, they're more or less an inch square, but some are slightly less on one side, slightly more on the other. So when I put them together, the grouting will be just slightly irregular all throughout, and I want that anyway. And also I'm laying the tiles, if I get the it's got something on it, if I show you the right side of the tile that I rolled out to start with, that's very smooth. Hang on, there's a bit there, it's very smooth on that side, but if I turn it over, it's got a lovely texture underneath, which is the texture that it got from the mat basically when I rolled it out. So I'm laying them this way up to give the whole floor a lot more character and a lot more texture. If I had laid them all on the smooth side, then there wouldn't have been much going on there. And I'm going to colour them anyway, but or shade them here and there. But I just think it's going to look much nicer to have this organic side to it. They're going to look much more handmade. So I shall carry on. That's one section laid. I'll carry on. As I said, the reason I've done that is just to keep the more or less straight. So as I'm laying rows of tiles, I can see roughly a line near them that they're more or less straight as they're going on. Just makes it easier for you. Oh, and there's a microphone cover sticking out there on the video. Let's carry it. That's because I'm holding it all with one hand. Let's carry on. Okay, so that's the two floor sections finished. I'll let that dry now. I've glued them down with PVA on the card. They'll hold perfectly well with that. My guesstimation of how many tiles I need, that's the only tiles that are left over, so it wasn't too bad. I obviously guessed it well enough. I'd rather to have a few too many than a few not enough. My next stage, after the tiles have dried and they're now solid on the card, was to use a selection of various coloured pastels. If you look at terracotta tiles or photos of terracotta tiles, you will, if you look hard enough, you will find several different shades within the terracotta. So I have mixed a few different shades together. Some I've put on their own, some I've mixed. And then rubbed them in with my fingers, and then used a soft brush to brush the whole thing to soften it. Once that's done, I'm then going to, now that is done, I'm now going to put 2 layers of Mod Podge on the over the tiles and seal them completely. One layer may do it, but there's no harm in letting that dry and then putting another layer on top. So I'll get that sealed up next, and then we'll go on from there. This is coat number 2 that I've applied. The first one I put on and I left it around half an hour. When I looked at it, it was touch dry. It can take 20 minutes to half an hour to dry, and it dries clear and it leaves a slight sheen on the tiles, which you would get on polished terracotta. So I'll let this, so I'm just showing you this, anyone that hasn't used Mod Podge before, and you put it on and it looks very white and oogy. It does actually dry clear. So I'll let that dry and then we'll carry on with it. Now, it was a couple of days ago when I Mod Podged the tiles. They've had 2 coats, so they're looking good and very, very dry. I've been doing other work on the house that I've been filming. So now I'm just going to mix the grout together and apply the grout. I've used 2 packs of grout, just very slightly different shades, and I've just mixed them together. I just think it will look nice on the finished floor. Either grout would have looked nice on its own, but I think the two together will look really just okay. So I'm just mixing this up until I get a thick paste with water, and I'm also going to, with the grout in, I add a little drop of PVA for each pack that does almost one of this size floor. I put about half a teaspoon of PVA in with the grout. I'm using 2 packs here, so I'm putting 1 teaspoon of PVA into it, and the reason I'm doing that is because firstly it makes the grout take longer to actually dry, so you can work with it a bit longer. You don't have to rush and panic over it. And also, after you've done it and wiped off the excess, when it is dry, it dries a lot more robust and solid. So it gives a nice finish. So I'm just mixing this into a thick paste, and then I shall add that looks just fine. Now I shall add a small drop of PVA, oops, about a teaspoon, there, that will do, and just mix that in, just like a thick paste. There we are. I'll just wipe that off. There, and I have a wet cloth here and a bowl of water so I can keep rinsing the cloth. And now let me just get something else. Right, now I'm just going to put the grout on and use a spatula just to scrape over the tiles. And then I can use the cloth, the damp cloth, to wipe off the excess before it starts drying. To wipe off the excess. Looking good. And rinse the cloth. It is winter now, even though it's not that cold, but I have used just a very slightly warm water to dip my hands in. I don't want freezing cold water to do this job. I want it to be comfortable. And with the tiles covered in the Mod Podge, it wipes off extremely well, but it doesn't pick up the colour that I've done the tiles. It leaves that behind because it's sealed inside the Mod Podge. There's lots of texture on the tiles, so I'll just go over finely in small bits like this just to make sure I get all the grouting off. But there we are. Looking good. There, and I shall just carry on with this now and do both floors, this floor and the other section, and then I'll let that dry for a little bit when I've done it, and then we'll just glue the floor in the house, and I can slide these into place. And here's the flooring down, and all the coving put up, and I've cut the the top of the archway there, the exact depth of the coving, so the coving comes down flush with the bottom of the archway there, so it looks good on each side. I've done it on both sides, obviously. Starting to look like a really dark, atmospheric Moroccan cafe. I'm really pleased with it. So we've used 2 of the colours out of the 4 so far, the ceiling colour, the walls, and now for the 3rd colour. So that's the flooring. It's looking really good, really pleased with it. So now I'll show you what I'm doing with colour number 3. Now for the 3rd colour I'm using for the in some houses, you know, Victorian houses, old houses, or even modern day houses now, you might put panelling around the bottom part of the wall, just so far up, and then with a dado rail along the top. Well, I wanted this to be the same sort of age, so it's like an old Moroccan cafe, but instead I'm using a Moroccan laser cut design. So you can't see it properly because it hasn't got a background to it, but it's a nice, oh here we are, there's a piece of paper there so you can see it better. So I've got this panelling, and all I've done is measure a certain measurement, and then I've just taken my time and finally cut right through the middle of the little lines all the way along there, and then cut another piece and so on, and ended up with these pieces of panel. So these are going to be the around the bottom, so they'll go from the floor up, so far up, and I'm going to glue these to the walls. And these are the sort of, I call it a burnt orange, but it's one of the Moroccan colours that I chose for this room. So it's really going to set off the walls. So I'm going to get those glued in place first of all, let you see that, and then I'll put the 4th colour in and the final touch. So excited, can't wait. Now, this is the last piece I've put up. I used the tacky glue to put this on, and that disappears, so, and the rest of it has all indeed dried and disappeared. But as you can see, I've used the 4th colour as the dado rail, the deeper Moroccan blue, just to pick that out on the top there. So hopefully you'll agree. It's looking very Moroccan, and once all the furniture goes in, it's going to look amazing. I've cut out a bit here because the hinge will go in there and fit in there. But yes, I'm very, very, very pleased with it. Just a couple of tiny bits to touch up, and then it'll be ready to put the lights in. But I'll put the lights in just before I start on the rooms above. Okay, so hopefully, folks, you're enjoying my journey. I am enjoying it immensely. I'm loving every minute. And I've just realised we have a little hideaway here. Nigel, Neej, you're keeping me company, aren't you? Eh? What's that? No, we won't tell John Boy that you're sitting in his house, in the cafe. I'm sure he won't mind. You're not doing any damage, so I'll keep to the side here. There we are, and say thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and hope you enjoyed the video, as I've said. And I will put the lights in the cafe in the next video when I start the rooms above. Oh, there he goes. So yes, it's coming along absolutely brilliantly. So yes, hope you enjoyed the video. I'm watching because Nigel's trying to get up and there's lots of stuff on the worktop here, lots of wet paint and water and lots of glue and mess. So I shall say goodbye now, clear everything up. It's actually night time, it's dark outside, and it's John has called me twice for tea, so I better just go in and eat. Okay folks, thanks very, very much for watching, and speak to you again very, very, very soon. Take care everyone. Bye.